Ain't shit to it. I want y'all's goddamn homes built out of cardboard. 200 G's. 200 G's.
This is literally how we have to walk out of our house when it's raining.
New construction homes this year are a complete scam, and if you've been house hunting lately, you probably already know what I mean. Builders today don't care about quality anymore. They only care about speed and profit. They're throwing up houses as fast as possible, cutting corners, and then looking the other way when problems start to show up. I'm talking about crooked framing, rushed plumbing, electrical work that's literally one light switch away from catching on fire, and it's all about getting it done as cheap as possible. But here's the worst part. Most builders know when they make mistakes. They just hope you don't catch them, because the fewer problems you find, the less work they have to fix. But the problem is those shortcuts always come back to haunt the buyer, the person stuck paying for the new home that's already falling apart. And that's why I believe older homes and even custom builds where you control the quality are almost always a better bet. And that's if you can even afford a house in today's insane market. So in this video, I'm exposing the truth about new construction and the red flags you need to watch out for before buying a home. Either way, let me know your thoughts about homes down in the comments section below. Like, I'd like to know, when were houses built the best? What year was it? Otherwise, guys, let's get right into today's episode. Let's see what $300,000 gets you in 2025. Okay, crooked floors, or crooked walls, sorry, non-straight walls. How does that even happen? How do you have bowed walls? You don't even need his laser to tell that these things are so warped. Oh my gosh. Like, is this the lumber that we're getting from Home Depot nowadays? Oh, that's excellent. I love the pointer. That definitely makes these videos more special. Oh boy. What is this? Just a clogged filter, or is it installed wrong? It looks clogged, or the wrong one. So they didn't clean it out. I'm sure that would clog it. I love the blue tape on the missing frame of the window. That's phenomenal. Is this what $300,000 gets you in today's day and age? Like, you would think it's like a privilege to be able to afford, like, sorry, we're going to restart. See, in my mind, and maybe I'm naive, maybe I'm too young to understand, but in my mind, to be able to purchase something new, to me, it seems like a privilege. And with that privilege, it should be perfect. It should be flawless. If you buy a new car, it should be amazing quality. But we know, because we've made new cars are horrible videos on this channel, that ain't the case anymore. New cars are terrible. And if you haven't seen that episode, definitely make sure to check it out. But, you know, if I'm going to spend $300,000 that in today's world would probably take somebody 30 years to save up for. I mean, most people retire with less money than that, which is a shame. I would hope it's going to be perfect. But apparently in 2025, moving forward, 300 grand does not get you much of anything. It gets you a cookie cutter, junky house that has so many corners cut. You're going to tell me that the builder who installed those windows completely forgot to frame it or paint the wall or whatever needs to get done over there? No. There's a very good chance he knew there is zero effort put into appreciating your craft. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, I feel like people actually cared about the product or the craftsmanship or the service they provided. Like, they genuinely liked doing that work. Well, today, not anymore. Anywho, I wanted to read some of the comments that people had left on that TikTok. There should be annual performance reviews for these companies to decide whether or not they keep their contractor license. At this point, most of these contractor licenses were probably paid off. Like, somehow they're passing inspections, town inspections, whatever it is. It doesn't seem, the amount of corruption that probably goes on with contractors and these massive multi-billion-dollar corporations that put up these houses like crazy. There's a couple of them. I'm forgetting the names of some of them, but there are like a select few companies or contractors that kind of are building entire communities all around the country. Every state, they just knock down a bunch of land, put up these crazy houses, and boom, you have a whole new block. And then it's, of course, in an HOA that's charging $300 a month with some BS like that. The tapping seems extra aggravated today. The little blue tape at the end was great. That's what I'm saying. This has helped me make the decision to stay in my solid built 1978 home forever. That's what I am saying, and I need your guys' help. I'm in the process of looking for homes. I'm in the process of moving out of Florida into probably, I'm looking around Charlotte, North Carolina, possibly Rock Hill, South Carolina, somewhere in that general vicinity. And I want to buy a home. I'm sick and tired of renting and dealing with, managers and maintenance and blah, 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 blah. And it just all not going or being done properly here. And I need to know what I should be avoiding. Obviously, I'm not going anywhere near new construction homes unless I build it, but I don't have the money for that. What year, what decade should I avoid? And what decade was there actual care in the craftsmanship of your work? I need to know. We all need to know at this point.
What in the hell? This is literally how we have to walk out of our house when it's raining. Who in the hell thought this was smart construction when they built this house? D.R. Horton.
Oh, there you go.
D.R. friggin' Horton did this to us. This has got to be the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Are there no gutters? Literally the dumbest shit. Do you see this? This is right out the front door. Literally, you walk out the door, and this is what happens to you when it's raining. Completely douched. Yep. That's really what you're seeing, people. D.R. Horton.
The funny part is she bought it. She probably bought it for $600,000, and there's probably a $400 a month HOA fee on top of it. I don't understand. You're making that big of a purchase. The front door, the thing that you look at when you first go to check out the house, you didn't notice that? I know maybe it wasn't raining at the time, but I think I would figure out the slant going right into my door is probably a poor design or a design flaw. You know what I'm saying? And second, are there no gutters? I didn't see a single gutter there. Unless it's sloped over to something or it's just not working, I feel like gutters might solve her problem, but that's ridiculous. What were you thinking buying a D.R. Horton home? So that's the name that pops into my head. Who buys D.R. Horton homes? That's the least of your problems. That's the common thing that I'm starting to see. D.R. Horton seems to be one of these massive, we're talking multi-million dollar contractors or builders or whatever you want to call it, that pops up, these massive housing tracts in like 6 months and then sells them for a fortune. Someone says, you didn't notice the lack of gutter. That's what I'm saying. You didn't notice the lack of gutters when you looked at the house? Like, am I missing something here? How in the world did you end up living in that and not passing like all the inspection? I'm hoping she's renting one of those townhomes. I really am. Go out the garage, go to Home Depot, buy gutters, install them. Yeah, but you would think it's just a principle that I shouldn't even have to do that for a brand new home that cost over $500,000 for. Like, I shouldn't have to add extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? It just sucks, to be dealing with houses nowadays.
One of my houses is right there on the end. I've had that for over a year, about a year and a half.
Colorado.
All of these houses, brand new builds, available.
Huh.
All 10 of them, just sitting here, year and a half. Like, these are $1 million homes. Maybe that's a problem.
$1 million homes? Did he just say? I wouldn't pay over like $300K for one of those. See, the way these new houses are going, it just pisses me off. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe I've got an old soul or something like that. But just something about these new construction homes, or it's not even the new construction homes. So we're talking about like the new construction blocks, the new communities that are being built. It just freaks me out. Like, I would much rather live in a block in a house that's withstood the test of time, that has mature trees. That's what I'm looking for. I want to live in a community that's kind of been through a couple storms. That, you know, the neighbors have lived in the house for more than 4 months. Like we're all not getting used to it. That just looks so freaky, like a dystopia or like this weird bubble utopia where everything is exactly the same. I don't know if you guys remember that live action, you know, the Cat in the Hat movie that came out years ago. It popped into my head, but doesn't that block that he bought this $1 million house on that now he can't sell? I mean, duh, I wouldn't want to buy that. You know, doesn't it look exactly like that? Like that was a weird dystopian world where everything is exactly the same in the Cat in the Hat. And here we are in 2025, a decade later, they pretty much predicted the future. It's real weird the way we're going.
Dude, they're about to fucking lay sod on this shit. Is that for fucking real, dude?
Yep.
No wonder my fucking grass doesn't grow.
It's so
what the
half-assed.
fuck? How? No way. No way. They think they're gonna plant grass on this shit?
Oh, yeah.
This is a literal joke. No wonder I can't fucking grow grass. What in the hell is that?
There's garbage on it.
Holy shit. Hang on. Because there's sod here too, dude. What the No way.
That's crazy.
What? What? What?
You know it's all going to die. Funny thing is, I live in an apartment complex here in Florida, and in this apartment complex, they rent out, first floor apartments that have like super tiny backyards, and they call it, oh, we're pet friendly. Come, let your dog out in this fenced in backyard. The funny thing is, all the photos of it show beautiful, luscious green grass. Everything here, it's all dead sand and dirt. Like, there's no grass anymore. And the irony is they didn't install a sprinkler system there, so nothing gets watered, and it's Florida, and everything dies. Well, after several years of people complaining and turning down these rentals in those apartments because you tricked them at this point here, I finally saw them last week install sod. And in Florida, it's crabgrass, which is crazy. The weed in any other state that you're trying to get rid of is what the grass is here in Florida, is because it's hardier. But the funny thing is, again, you didn't fix the original problem. So they laid down all this sod. It lasted 3 days, and now it's all brown again. The idiocracy that happens nowadays, it's like there's so many steps involved with doing this stuff that it just never works out right, is apparently what's going on right now. Imagine buying a new home and then they just slap all that sod down on top of the plastic bottles and beer bottles that your construction crew, the builders, just threw on your front lawn. Of course your grass isn't going to grow. And now it's going to cost you even more money to get rid of it all and then put new one. You're better off just not installing it and doing it yourself. Anyway, I wanted to read a couple of the comments that people had left on the previous new construction episode. And if you guys want to get featured in the next episode, definitely make sure to drop a comment down below. Our home was built in 1955, purchased in 2019, all brick and cement block foundation. Had to do $50,000 in renovation to get it up to date, but we paid $180K and it was recently appraised at over $400,000. We won't be moving anytime soon. I mean, can you even get something like that nowadays? I mean, that's crazy. You bought a house for $180K back in 2019. Yeah, of course that same house is worth $400K. We're talking in less than 6 years, the house more than doubled in price. Granted, he did put in $50K worth of renovation, but even then, the anomaly that we've had in the housing market over the past 4 years, houses have inflated like an additional, any house add 200 grand on top of, and that's what they're selling for right now. Took the Amish from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. to get this all boarded up and roof on. Started with just the very bottom. That's insane. That's how I want my house built. If I was ever to get a new construction home, I want the Amish to build it. We're getting to that point right now. They make some quality work. Have you seen the furniture that Amish people make? It is perfection. They have a right to charge a lot of money for it because it is amazing quality. Can't get that anymore. Without permits and codes, you can get a lot done. Yeah, that's true. But, you know, you leave that to the wrong hands and people are always going to try to undercut it and do the least amount that they can. The Amish, on the other hand, I mean, I would think it's up to code. I think it would be pretty solid. That's all I would think. I don't know any better, though. That one Family Guy clip, yeah, that is what that reminds me of. Funny story, a tornado hit an Amish town, and the NWS came out to survey damage and couldn't find any because the Amish rebuilt everything within 24 hours. I bet you there wasn't even that much damage after a tornado because that thing looked built pretty dang well.
You'll see all these $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 houses. Hell, here's one. There's one. All right. I want to show you what these sumbitches are made out of.
What even is that?
You see that? Better. Okay. There's this.
Thermoply?
Ain't shit to it. I want y'all's goddamn homes built out of fucking cardboard.
That's what it is?
200 G's. 200 G's.
The crazy thing is, this is happening all over America. Builders are rushing, cutting corners, putting up new construction using substandard materials.
That's what I would say.
An older home, preferably before 1980.
Well, there you go. 1980. That's when he's saying don't buy anything after that date. Now, you know what's even more insane than the fact that we are now within the Three Little Pigs and building houses out of sticks and cardboard? It's the fact that more than 70% of you guys that watch these episodes on the channel aren't actually subscribed. That's crazy. Subscribing to the channel is completely free. It doesn't cost a dime. The channel's made with more than just cardboard, believe it or not. All subscribing to the channel does is let me know that you guys like to see videos like this and that I should keep making more videos like this. Anyways, going back to that original question, because I can't seem to find a solid answer, what decade should you be buying houses at or to look for or to avoid? Because I'm really curious. Now, I've noticed it more within the car industry, but it seems like houses are really no different, is that as time has progressed, corners are constantly being cut. Now, yes, inflation and things start to cost more, but we're starting to see, you know, essential, vital parts of cars like oil pans being replaced. And they're coming up with some BS like, oh yeah, it's for weight reduction. Sorry, your Nissan Sentra, the last thing you need to worry about is the weight of the vehicle, the weight reduction. That's all I'm going to say. We're having metal pans replaced with plastic. We're having vital engine components being replaced with plastic. And I feel like I'm seeing the same stuff happen within houses too. And they're just coming up with some other excuse as to why it's acceptable in today's day and age. Back in the day, you had solid copper piping. Now we have PEX piping. Now, some of you are going to attack me that, oh, well, PEX piping is better because, you know, it doesn't crack in the winter and blah, 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 blah. But can we just not beat around the bush and, you know, agree on the fact that it is significantly cheaper than copper? That's the main reason. Yes, there might be some pros to it. Yeah, you might be now constantly ingesting microplastics from heating up plastic tubing constantly. Yeah, it might be easier to fix or replace. But at the end of the day, it's all plastic and it's all cheaper. And that's the main reason why we're doing it. Not because it's essentially better. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Copper, some people swear by it. Some people don't. Long Island has this big problem of pinholes forming in copper pipes. Or using OSB is better than plywood. It's the same thing. It's just pressed glue and wood chips. No, it's cheaper. That's the main reason.
Heading in to do an inspection with one of my least favorite builders. Let's see how this bad boy goes.
See how he drives by and it says Lennar? Lennar Homes. That was so subtle. Look at the terrible quality. We have D.R. Horton and Lennar Homes. I guess two to avoid. I really don't like that type of flooring.
Every now and then I'll bust out the old trusty laser here. And from when the laser's placed there to when the laser's placed right here in the center, there's about an inch of drop where you see that line is.
Stripped out
I think
screws.
it's standard now to strip as many screws as possible in every stair rail that's installed.
Pretty much. Water leak.
Check out this vanity with me here. So there's a shim right there, and then they caulk, and then just leave a gap, And then we add some caulk again. There's another shim.
What
There's
shit
holes.
quality?
It's over 1/4 of an inch of a gap.
How disgusting. Imagine
Very
paying
nice.
$500,000.
Well, we've got some mortar here and gap missing there. Got some mortar here and then none for the rest of the way down. So this tree planted 2 feet away from the house here and near this overhang is called a Vanderwolf pine. Some more information on that.
$250.
It can grow to
Right.
20 to 25 feet
Yep.
tall, 10 to 15 feet wide. Other fun part is it's right over the sewer line.
Excellent.
So what are these roots going to do in a few years? They have nowhere to go but grow in and around the sewer line.
And you would think by now that contractors and builders would absorb the information that has been around. And as we learn and invent and engineer new things, that planting a pine tree 1.5 feet from your house is probably a bad idea. And then putting the drain, the emergency sewer drain with the PVC thing right next to the tree is probably not the smartest decision. But again, they don't care. You can't convince me otherwise that it was an honest, sincere mistake. I don't believe you. The sad thing is, a lot of people, you have to get a private inspector now. You have to get your house inspected. And you better not get it from the realtor or from the builder. You have one of them, they're in their pocket. It's a very bad mistake. But most people are not going to catch these mistakes. You're not supposed to. It's okay. You have a family. You work a 9-to-5 job, you have a career, you have other things to worry about than this. You need to hire professionals that do this for a living, that know what to look for to find these mistakes. Don't get finessed by your builders because they're going to try everything in their power to get you to buy it and to just overlook everything. And then once your warranty ends, you're out of luck. As an electrician, I hate wiring houses. Houses are built so cheap. Just slap the shit in as fast as possible for as cheap as possible. I'd rather pay for something decades old and just throw money at it. These new homes are built like vehicles now, not meant to last. Boom. There it is again. Another reference to why new cars are absolute junk. And again, if you haven't seen that series, I highly recommend you check it out. It's a great, great, great series. You got to be careful even with buying new homes because I remember I had a friend that just bought a new house on Long Island. Well, a new to him house. The house is probably, 70 years old, built in the 50s or the 60s. And he was redoing some stuff and they ripped out the walls, or they checked the outlets, blah, 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 blah. Or they were upgrading the copper piping because it's known for pitting, like I mentioned before. And they saw what the house was wired with. And the entire house was wired with aluminum wires. And I guess for those that know more than me, it's supposedly very dangerous and a huge fire hazard. And it is certainly not up to code. And there were a lot of other corners cut that you wouldn't know until you started ripping the walls down. Just like you wouldn't know on a car until you look underneath it here. So you still got to be careful. But I would argue it's probably a safer bet to buy an older house because I think you kind of got more of your money's worth. Same thing with buying older cars. You still got to do your research. You go and buy a late 90s, early 2000s Toyota. Solid. I'm sure there's an era or a decade when houses were built where solid. We're talking amazing HVAC units that did not break down after 1.5 years like they do on my apartment complex in Florida. These break every freaking 6 months. It's insane. And I'm sure, it's built with solid 2x4s, solid wood that's strong, that's, sturdy, actual full bricks, not a 1/4 inch thick like we saw.
These young gentlemen said by the end of the day, they will have the whole deck up, right? You said the whole deck? I can't wait.
They did it.
No fucking way. They're gone. The whole thing is finished. Fucking railings are up, everything. Done. Holy shit.
I know who I'm hiring. I'm an architect, and this kind of shenanigans is what makes me travel whatever is necessary to inspect the house at least twice a week. Sadly, contractors nowadays just take jobs they don't have the time to complete properly and just rush to finish it. What I recommend is to put in the contract that a part of the amount will be retained until the work is completed and passes all inspections. I feel bad for doing it, but it's the only way with some people. It's actually really interesting and probably a good thing. Like, have some money in escrow or something that the builders won't get until it meets all inspections and passes all inspections, and then that money might be released. You know, get some fire under their ass or a reason to build these houses. You know what I'm saying? Because if they get all the money and they already built the house and it's falling apart, well, they don't care. They already got the goal. You know, they got the nut. They don't need anything else. Why would they ever work harder to make it better when they already won? You know what I'm saying? They're not going to do it.
These flipped houses are getting ridiculous, man.
Got a nice cracked backsplash already, and they didn't even bother cleaning up the plumber's plate.
Oh my gosh, who installed this stuff?
Trim work is mint. And we have more cracked tile. And even shittier trim work on the tile.
Loose toilet.
Oh, nice.
I really like the nails that they put in the transition strip. And just left them sitting proud.
Oh, you're going to ruin your
That's
toe.
That's going to hurt someone.
Yeah, take the skin right off. It doesn't even open. It's hitting the wall.
Another loose toilet.
And here we have the bathtub, and Jesus, the gap in the surround just keeps getting bigger. That's terrible.
You know what's funny is if you guys are on social media, YouTubers, mainly TikTok, there's so many of these home flippers coming out of the woodworks, and then so many like people wanting to copy them because they have made it into an influencer thing where like people watch the series of them, you know, flipping homes and then selling them. And from afar, the houses look phenomenal. But then I see these videos of the home inspectors going in and checking everything. They did a terrible job. They're just flipping them quick. And I have looked online at some of these houses that somehow went from 200 to 700K in like a year. And boom, they've been house flipped. And all they do is like paint the cement on the floor. They throw up a coat of paint and put some new cabinets in. And boom, they're trying to double their money. It's insane. It really is insane. But so many people are trying nowadays to become house flippers because they think it's a get-rich-quick thing, that this is the outcome. This is what we're seeing. And they're just ruining the potential of these older homes. And they want, didn't I just say that? And they want $700,000 for this? Exactly. You lost me as soon as the dishwasher wouldn't open all the way. Yeah, imagine cutting that quarter. And you know dang well, when they installed that and it didn't work, they were like, this is going to take a lot of time to fix. I don't want to disassemble it. I'm just going to leave it and hope that nobody finds it. And then it's their problem. Flipped houses are just landlord specials. Yes! That's truly all houses are now. Flipped houses are landlord specials to a T. I purchased a 50-year-old house that no flipper or investor had gotten their greedy, sticky fingers on. I love it. It needed a lot of work, including all new exterior doors, windows, the roof, the kitchen needed completely overhauled, but I got a really good deal on it. And 4.5 years later, after picking out all the materials myself and supervising the renovations, that is key, I think it's far better than anything the new builders are making. Plus, I only owe like $50K. That is awesome. And honestly, that's probably how you're going to have to go around doing this stuff. And even like when you're buying a used car, you're probably better off buying one where you know there's an issue that you can fix and you do it yourself instead of them fixing it, because then you have no idea, like, you know, the shoddy work. That's why I don't even trust bringing my cars to mechanics anymore or the dealer, because I can't supervise the work and you know they don't care. I've gotten screwed so many times that I have learned my lesson. First time, shame on you. Second time, third time, fourth time, shame on me. I've learned my lesson. Now, at all costs, I avoid going to the mechanics. This is the same thing. I'd rather buy a house and do the work myself and supervise it myself, know it's done solid, you know, buy a house that hasn't been touched, than buy one from a flipper or buy one from a greedy investor that tore it down and put up some junker brand new construction home. Let's see what my $400,000 will get me. All right, well, that's an easy fix. That's an easy fix. You just flip that around. Excellent. Oh. It's haunted. That was so aggressive. I hate that. It's in my apartment. Solid crack on a new construction home. Interesting. See, I would expect this type of work in a new construction apartment complex because these look identical to what I'm currently living in now, which is a brand new as of, it's like, at this point, it's like 3 or 4 years old, but new construction. I think they built in like 21 or 20, probably 20 or 21. I think one of those 2 years. I would expect nothing less in an apartment complex, but a house that I'm purchasing for close to $500,000, the fact that I'm finding that junk there is ridiculous. My townhouse was finished in April of 2021. When I bought it, I was offered 3 choices. See, I don't know if I would buy a townhouse. Why would I want a conjoined wall with my neighbors? But, you know, to each their own. And then when you bought it, you were offered 3 choices up front from the construction company at the closing. You could get an Amazon, this is insane, an Amazon gift card worth $250, a Home Depot gift card worth $250, or a 1-year blue tape walk where they came back and fixed problems from the house settling. Why is that even an option? Like, are people seriously choosing a $250 gift card to Amazon than a 1-year warranty? Can you imagine how many people they actually fool and do that? I mean, you got to think about it. You know, even if they get 2% of people from this stupid little scam that they're doing, they're saving a lot of money. It's unbelievable. Well, I remember as a kid that as the house settles, things like that can happen as well as pop nails. I took the 1-year come back and fix it problems thing. It was free of charge. I was the only one on my section of townhouses that chose that. Didn't I just say that? People are so... Oh my gosh. After a year, I had so many nails pop. They sent a man to find them all. I found some he missed and used my own painter's tape to add more spots that I found. Then they sent a crew of 2 men to fix them. Took them several hours, but they got all of them, plus a few of those hairline cracks. Those are also from a house settling. Can confirm it happened in the 90s when I was a kid. Now in 2025, everything is still good. I mean, the fact that people are still getting fooled by just dangling a carrot in front of them for $250 and they'll decline a 1-year warranty is insane. And it's not uncommon. Lots of places do stuff like that. For those of my OG followers that remembers when I bought a new car, you know, what's funny is they advertised on the Mazda dealership that if you went in for a test drive, you'd get a $25 gift card. And if you left with a new car, you'd get a $100 gift card. That was the first thing I asked for and said when we went in for the test drive. They wrote down our information. I brought it up several times during the whole transaction. They never gave it to me. I asked the salesman 10 times for the gift card, and he laughed and made jokes and said, sorry, I can't, I'll try, sorry, I'll give you another tank of gas. I'm like, no, we want the gift card. They wouldn't do it. But they advertise it. That's the massive advertisement on their website, but they won't give it to you. It's full of crap. It's like a bait and switch just to get you in.
Today, I'm out doing an inspection on a newly constructed DR Horton home. Let's go see what we can find. So before even walking into the home, this is what I'm looking at. So they haven't even put the lawn, the sod, and they have the trenches to run the pipes for the irrigation system. And some more over here. Now keep in mind, this is a phase 3, just before move-in. Now check out the dishwasher. That is definitely loose.
Junk.
And mainly because this board right here, see how off it is from the dishwasher? One of the tests I do for the microwave is I put a cup of cold water in the microwave and I run it for, well, that door, there's the deficiency right there. That door's not closing well.
Junk.
And then I run it to see if it heats up the water properly. Nope. They're definitely going to have to check that out. Here at the kitchen, when I fill up the sink and release the stopper, got a little leak under there. I'm going to check out one of the bedrooms and It's not latching like it's supposed to.
That's
maybe
that is every single door in my apartment complex here. This new apartment complex, every single door is like that, and I had to go in and like chisel it out so that it closes.
Just adjusting that strike plate. Or it could be happening because of this split right here.
Excellent.
Here, one of the shower areas at the top where the tile ends, you see they've sealed some of it, but there's some areas where they missed.
So water intrusion
You gotta
and black
seal
mold.
the whole thing.
It's all going to get moldy.
And they missed some spots down there. That's very common. I see that all the time. In this bathroom, there's dual sinks, and I'm running the water in this one, but when I came to run the water in this one, you see how the water's coming out nice and smooth there?
Oh.
Because it's missing that piece up underneath there. Typically, I find where the main water meter box is located to look for certain things and deficiencies, but apparently it's covered underneath all this dirt. So they're going to have to uncover this and just make sure everything's looking okay in there. The furnace is located up here in the attic, and it happens to be an electrical furnace. Now here's where the main wires go in, and it goes down and around towards the back. And continues all along, and it goes underneath all that insulation there. The reason I'm showing this to you is because that is a deficiency. There should be a disconnection box within 25 feet of the component and within plain sight. Out here you can see that board right there, the fascia board, is really pressed up against the roof. It should not be doing that. It should be about an inch off the roof line. And then that opening right in there, that needs to be sealed up. That's
Sure
called
does.
an eave. Shouldn't be open like that. Here at the windows, this is missing what's called a weep hole cover. They put one there. It's like most of the windows, they only put one on one side. Coming down over here.
Was it missing both?
Did the same thing here.
Oh no.
They put one there. They left that one open. So earlier we saw on the front there was no sod, and there's none here in the back
Yeah, it looks
either.
phenomenal.
But what I wanted to show you is this is what we call negative grading. You see how it starts at the fence line at the bottom here, and it starts to go down towards the home.
You don't want that.
Now, without the grass being installed, it's kind of hard to give an opinion to whether the swell directs the water from the rainfall around the home like it's supposed to, instead of collecting right here in the middle.
Yep.
Hopefully they did it correctly, and it does divert around the home.
Interesting. If you're looking at a house built in 2000-ish, keep in mind that there are things like HVAC, roof, etc. that often have a 25 to 30-year lifespan. So you'd been needing to come up with cash to do that in the near future if it hasn't already been done. Well, yeah, that is something to check, and you can negotiate with the homeowner with that. If there are issues found during the inspection, as long as you complete it within the timeline indicated in your contract, you can ask the seller to fix the issue or give you a credit, and you would then deal with the issue after closing. Interesting. I've owned a fixer-upper and a brand new home. There's pros and cons to both. With a new home, you just can't let the fact that it's new construction make you think it's automatically going to be perfect. See, that's what a lot of people think, even with new cars. Same exact mindset. And I researched the builder before buying, just like you should research the dealership where you're buying a car from. Regardless, buying one and fixing it versus recent renovation, there's a lot to consider. If it's a flip, there may be hidden issues they just threw a nicer finishing on, which is probably assume that almost all of them are, and hoped it would sell before anything too bad enough to be a problem, came up or surfaced. My dad would refer to this as putting lipstick on a pig. Yeah, that is exactly the analogy. Also, some people DIY things they really shouldn't. Number one rule, no matter what, always get a home inspection. 100% totally agree. Just like purchasing a used car or even a new car, pre-purchase inspection is golden. It is key. So guys, that's going to be it for today's episode. Hopefully you liked this week's new construction insanity video. If you did, let me know down in the comments section below. Also, what decade should we be looking for purchasing a house? And what decade did you guys purchase a home? Let me know some issues you've had as a homeowner during the purchase or afterwards, some common things that fail that you have to be, mindful for. I'm looking to become a homeowner finally, buying my first home. Let me know what to look for or look out for when it comes to purchasing one or what to expect. I really want to hear you guys' feedback down in the comment section below. But with that being said, smash the like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and if you haven't already, check out the previous new construction episode right after this. Peace.